Let's do it. Let's welcome back our friend, the Hall of Famer, Ray Didinger, back to Philly Pressbox Radio.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Great, Ray.
Hello. Great to see you as always, Ray. Folks know this. Ray Didinger is one of our favorite guests, and he's been a success at everything he's attempted over his life, with one exception, that, of course, retirement. Ray, you've been making weekly Saturday appearances again on WIP. You've got 2 plays hitting different stages this fall. I got to give you a C- on your retirement attempt.
I hope Mrs. Didinger's not listening right now.
She just left. Hopefully not permanently.
Lucky for you. All right.
Actually, yes, 2 plays and another edition of the Eagles Encyclopedia, which is coming out in middle of October. You know, it wasn't planned, but I mean, the Eagles did win a Super Bowl in February, and that sort of necessitated updating the 3rd edition of the Eagles Encyclopedia. So I had to hunker down and revise, update, and get the Eagles Encyclopedia or the Eagles history book up to speed with the latest Super Bowl. So that was a pretty ambitious undertaking that got me through February and March. But the new Eagles Encyclopedia, called Champions 2, will be out in bookstores in the middle of October.
All right, Ray, we got to talk about the Eagles. Cowboys coming to town a week from tomorrow. We know the schedule is tougher this year. We know how many guys are gone from last year's Super Bowl championship team. But how does this roster, this team, compare to the 2024 Eagles?
I think that it is, as you're saying, and Bill just said it, it's still kind of a work in progress. I mean, Howie Roseman is guys are coming and going right now to fill in the fringes of that 53. I think the guts of it, the key guys are there, and they can play with anybody. But I don't know. Coming out of the preseason, you know, I would still say the Eagles are the favorites, but you know, I think there were some issues. You know, I'll be honest with you. I mean, watching them play in the preseason, forget the wins, losses. That doesn't really matter. Just kind of what you saw. And, you know, I think they have issues in the secondary. I think they haven't found the other cornerback who's going to play opposite Mitchell. I think they're still experimenting at the slot and also at the other safety position. I'm not 100% sold on the edge rushers once you get past the starters. A couple of the free agent guys they brought in that you hope that they would sort of emerge haven't yet. And, you know, the offensive line, I mean, you've got Dickerson's coming out of the preseason with a knee injury. Juergens is coming off back surgery. And when all the backup linemen had to play in the preseason, the 5 offensive linemen, it didn't look great, you know. So if they get a couple injuries on the offensive line, I'm not so sure how good the reinforcements are going to be. So those are all concerns in addition to what you talked about, Chet, which is the schedule, which is just a brutal schedule. You know, when you're the defending Super Bowl champ, you expect that. But it's a tough one. It's a real tough one. And as Nick Sirianni has said a few times over, you know, when you're the Super Bowl champ, everybody's going to be gunning for you. You're going to get everybody's best shot every week. And 17 weeks of that, it's a long, hard climb. And they've got good players, and they have a chance to do it, but I don't think it's going to be easy.
Well, Ray, me and my partner here, we're having this little debate about QB1. And I'm thinking there's not much more he can do to continue to raise the bar on his play. My partner here is not all on board with Jalen Hurts. What more can we expect from him? He's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he is certainly a lightning rod in this town. And listen, that's nothing new. I mean, Eagles quarterbacks tend to be. I mean, going all the way back to, you know, Sonny Jurgensen. I mean, if you want to go back that far. I mean, if you're the quarterback, if you're the man under center in Philadelphia, you're under the microscope big time. And especially now in this era of sports talk radio and everybody in the world having a podcast. Everybody's watching every move you make. But to me, When the question was being asked, I was listening to the radio one day, was in the car, and the question was actually asked, is this the year that Jalen Hurts has to prove himself? I almost drove off the road.
Right.
I said, wait, did I miss something here? I mean, he was the Super Bowl MVP. He did do that. I didn't imagine that. I didn't dream that, right? Yep. Is he the classic quarterback? No. Is he ever going to lead the league in passing yardage? Doubt it.
Hope not.
Is he going to lead the league in touchdown passes? Probably not. Statistically, is he going to be up there with those other guys? No. But if you're a quarterback in the National Football League, I think you're measured by two things: how many points you score and how many games you win. Mm-hmm. And by those standards, this guy's right there with everybody. I mean, I've seen all of these ratings and whatever they are, where they're listing the top quarterbacks, and he's 8th, 9th, 10th. Jaden Daniels is ahead of him. Joe Burrow's ahead of him. And Josh Allen. And look, these are good players, certainly. But did they win a Super Bowl along the way here? Send up a flare when Joe Burrow wins a Super Bowl, okay? Jalen Hurts has done it. He's taken his team to there twice in the last 3 years, and the last time they went, they won, and he was the MVP. And it's always been my thinking, maybe wrong, but always been my thinking, that when teams are looking at quarterbacks, who they're going to draft, who they're going to sign, who they're going to acquire, organizations ask one question. The question is, can this guy win us a Super Bowl? Can we win a Super Bowl with this guy? That's what it all comes down to. That's what they have to ask about every quarterback that they bring in and pay the big money to. This guy, can he win us a Super Bowl? That's what we make the commitment on. Well, Jalen Hurts has done that. I think in some ways, he's an unconventional player. But it's partly a function of having worked on what was last year, a very unconventional modern NFL offense where they actually ran the football. But I think in all the things that matter in terms of winning games, he's demonstrated he can do that. So to me, I personally rate him higher than most people. And I certainly don't have I'm not running around asking if this is going to be his proven year. To me, I think he's already done that.
Yes, sir. Ray, I remember you did like the Jihaad Campbell pick. He'll play some edge, I guess, but with Campbell and Zach Bond, the Eagles actually have two pretty damn good linebackers. Do you agree?
Oh, yes, I do. And you got Nakobe Dean, who's probably going to be available to you at some point. But, yeah, I think that I really like the Campbell pick. I saw him. Listen, anybody saw Alabama play, you saw what this guy can do. He's a really, really good player. And if we were all having this discussion right before the draft, I wouldn't have thought there was any chance that the Eagles would get him at 31. To me, he was a top 12 talent. Now, I understand the shoulder injury scared some teams off, but listen, the Eagles get lucky. A really good player falls in their lap at 31. And, you take a player with his talent and his versatility, and you give him to Vic Fangio, a defensive coach like that, who's so good at spotting his players and putting them in spots where they can excel. Zach Bond being a perfect example. You take a kid like Campbell and you put him in Vic Fangio's hands, you've got a real weapon there. And I think he's going to be an impact player. I think he's going to be an impact player right away. I really do. I think he's, I'll tell you right now, I think he has a chance to be defensive rookie of the year. I think he's that good because he's going to have to play a lot. Because I really do think that he's got versatility. He can play that inside off the ball linebacker spot, and he can play that very well. But he can also be a true edge pass rusher. You can put him up on the edge and get him chasing down the quarterback. And with what I saw in the preseason, they may need a little help in that area, because you've lost Brandon Graham, you lost Josh Sweat, you've lost some people out there. And I think this kid, he can play all over the place, but you may see him on the edge more than you think, because if this team has trouble getting pressure on the quarterback, one of the things they can do to rectify that is put Campbell on the edge, and he'll get it for them.
Ray, back on the offensive side of the ball, there's a whole season full of tape of Saquon Barkley and the things that he did last year. Do you see the defense is adjusting to that? And would you expect to see a whole lot more throwing from Jalen Hurts this year, kind of forced by the defense to shut down Saquon, or is that too risky to load the box and put these receivers in man coverage?
No, I think it is. It's they're really taking a chance. I mean, if you look at these receivers, Brown, Smith, and Goddard. If you're going to play single coverage across the board, you're really asking for trouble. I mean, defenses are going to have to do a lot of different things. First and foremost, though, they're going to have to figure out a way to slow down Saquon Barkley. And, I don't want to say I'm worried, but there has to be some degree of concern when you have a guy coming off a season like that with that incredible workload. I mean, almost 500 touches. You look through the history of the NFL, guys that have had that kind of workload, you're not expecting him to duplicate that. I mean, I don't expect him to get 2,000 yards again. But do they suffer the next year? Are they lesser players? Can you see that season has taken something out of them? And, you can go but Saquon is, I don't want to compare him to Jamal Anderson or Priest Holmes or those kinds of guys that had like a precipitous drop off after a heavy duty year. This guy's better than they are. So maybe he's going to be the exception to the rule. But I think the Eagles have to think in terms of, look, he's still going to be the workhorse. He's still going to be the bell cow of the offense because he is that good. But I think they're going to have to be a little more careful and maybe a little more judicious about how much they ask him to do this year. Now, the Eagles, he doesn't have to rush for 2,000 yards to take the Eagles back to the Super Bowl, but he does have to be available to them for 17 weeks, and that's that to me is the one concern. But his talent is undeniable, and the season that he had last year was nothing short of magical. I mean, you talk about, what was it, 7 60-yard or longer touchdown runs in the NFL. I mean, you might get that in Division III. You might get that in high school football, but at this level of football, guys just aren't ripping off 60-yard touchdown runs week after week after week like this guy did. I mean, we saw something very, very special last year.
Hey, Ray, as a follow-up to what you were just talking about, I was looking at the Vegas odds yesterday on some individual stats, and let me get 10-second answers from you on each of these three guys. Saquon Barkley rushing yards, 1,376. That's the over-under number, 1,376. What do you say?
I would probably say over.
Okay.
I'm not going to say by how much, but I would say over. I mean, assuming that his offensive line is intact and he maintains health, I think 1,300 is attainable. Yes.
Number 2, A.J. Brown receiving yards, 1,125.
Well, that might be a little bit tougher in the sense that this team is still going to run the ball a lot. And he has to share the wealth in the passing game with Smith and Goddard and maybe Barkley if they use him more as a receiver. So I would probably go under on AJ.
Last one, Jalen Hurts, touchdown passes, 19.5. I forget what he had last year, but 19.5 this year.
Mm-hmm. See, I think with Hurts, the over-under on him is aggregate touchdowns. I think with him, you have to factor it all in as passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns. Right. I mean, he could get 19 passing touchdowns but wind up with 36 total touchdowns. The way the play calling works here and his unique ability to score in the red zone. Would I say 19 under 19.5 is what you said?
Yep.
Because I think they might take a few more shots in the passing game, I might say over.
I agree.
But I think, but if it is over, it won't be by a ton. I mean, he's not going to put up, Joe Burrow kinds of numbers because they just don't have that kind of offense.
Yeah, Vegas knows what they're doing, Ray. You know that.
They generally do.
Yeah.
They generally do. I mean, week to week with their point spreads, they're usually right on, and their over-under stuff is shockingly good.
Bill?
Hey, Ray, you've been around these championship teams a long time in all your different coverages. Have you ever seen a team, at least to the public, it appears, that has seemed to have, minute one, put this all behind them and focused on the next one? You know what? Like when they got their rings, it was celebratory, but it was like, hey, this is cool, man. We got to get to work tomorrow because we got another one to win.
Right.
Is that a real thing, do you think, or a mental game?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, they said all the right things.
Yeah.
You know, they all talked about, we're not defending anything. That championship is won. We're now going out to win the next one. That's sort of how clearly that's the message that's coming down from on high. I mean, that's the message in the building coming down from the coach that, we're not worried about last year. Last year, we got the rings. They're in the safe deposit box. It's in the record books. Now it's a new season, a new challenge. And that is the right approach to take, I think. If you look back at teams that have won multiple championships, that's generally the way they approach it. I mean, the Patriot teams, when they were on their run, Belichick was certainly of that mind. I mean, that was the message he preached. Forget about last year. This is a whole new year now. And Chuck Noll was very much the same way with the Steelers when in the 70s when they won 4 and 6 years. You can't spend too much time reflecting on what you've already accomplished. If you do, the league has a way of making you pay for that.
Yeah.
I mean, and this team, the thing about this team is they see the schedule that's in front of them, and they know how tough this is going to be right from the jump. You can say what you want about the Cowboys, but those 3 games after that, when you have to play Kansas City and Kansas City, play a Rams team that almost beat you in the playoffs, and then play Tampa in Tampa, where the Eagles never win. Okay, right. That's the beginning of your season. So there's no time to just sort of kick back and enjoy your past triumphs. You got to really bear down and try and win each of those games.
Ray, as noted earlier, you claim to be retired. We know better. 2 plays this fall, 1 brand new one popular returnee. I'll tell you, while we were all watching the Broad Street Bullies in the early and mid-1970s, there was a player with the Islanders and later the Buffalo Sabres named Brian Spinner Spencer. Pretty average player based on his stats, but without giving everything away, he had, his family made for quite an interesting story, enough so that Spinner is the focus of your new play. What can you tell us about this production?
That's got it right here. This is the script, and after I finish with you guys, I'm heading down to Delaware Theater Company for rehearsal tonight. And Brian Spencer was a player who was very typical of the 70s in the NHL. Rock'em sock'em, rough and tumble kid out of British Columbia, who literally fought his way to the NHL, and was in the course of doing that, fulfilled the dreams of his father, who was a hard-working, roll-up-your-sleeves lumberjack in British Columbia, whose only dream was to see his son play in the NHL. And the story of their sort of mutual journey and how his son finally does achieve that dream of getting to the NHL. And then I guess the cautionary tale that comes here is be careful what you wish for, because sometimes your dreams come with a terrible price. And that's really the story of Spinner Spencer. It's a story that I wrote, Chet, for the Philadelphia Bulletin back in 1971, when he made his debut and had a night that anybody that was there will never forget. I wrote a story for the Philadelphia Bulletin that night about that game. And it began a relationship that I had with Brian Spencer that spanned his whole 10-year career. I always carried that story, his story. I can't think of another one like it or even close to it in my head. And I felt like at some point I'm going to revisit this story because it's just so out of this world. It just reads like fiction, really. And I knew that at some point I would revisit it. Didn't know how, didn't know when, but I knew I was going to come back and write the Brian Spencer story again. So I have now done that as a play, and it's called Spinner, and it's going to be at the Delaware Theater Company. We're in rehearsal now. We open September 17th and run through October the 5th. And then Tommy and Me is coming back yet again. This will be the 10th year.
Wow.
If you can believe that.
Wow.
We first did it in 2015, and here we are doing it again 10 years later. And that's me, along with Tom Teddy, the actor who has played Tommy McDonald since the start of this thing 10 years ago.
Yep.
We did the play in January at the People's Light Theater in Malvern. And it went so well. In fact, we sold out the whole run that People's Light asked us to come back and do it again. So we will be there 2 days after I close Spinner. We open Tommy and Me at People's Light in Malvern on October the 7th and run through the 19th. So, I encourage people to come out and see these plays. Sports and theater, they make a very good combination. And they're very different kinds of stories. People that have seen Tommy and Me. Spinner is different for sure. But I think it's a pretty compelling story. And we have 7 just wonderful actors that have signed on to do this play. I would dare say maybe the 7 best actors working in the Philadelphia area have all said, yeah, I want in on this. So I think it's going to be a great show, and I hope people come out to support it. So Delaware Theater Company for Spinner and People's Light in Malvern for Tommy and Me.
And now you stuck in there greatest moments of Philadelphia sports with Glenn, right?
Yes, that falls right in the middle of it. Greatest moment of Philadelphia sports, which you have seen.
Yeah.
And we're doing it this time at the Uptown Theater in Westchester on October the 15th. And what it is basically is it's the ultimate Philadelphia highlight show. Joe Conklin, Glenn Macnow, and I run through what we feel is our list of the 10, it's actually 11 now, greatest moments in Philadelphia sport, dating back to, say, the 1960 Eagles. And we have film highlights. We have a lot of back behind the scenes stuff that Glenn and I have dug up. And then we have Joe Conklin there to provide all the voices. So if you come out, you'll get to hear Allen Iverson. You'll get to hear Charles Barkley. You'll get to hear Whitey and Harry. You'll get to hear Mike and Merrill, all through the talents of Joe Conklin. So that's October 15th at the Uptown Theater in Westchester. Tickets for that are available. We've done it a couple of times. I know Chet came out to see it.
Yeah.
And it really is a fun night. So I hope people will come out to support that too.
No, it's just a one-night stand, right?
That is just a one-night stand. Yes,
Yep.
That is correct. Although we're doing it again in December 3rd at the Scottish Rites Auditorium in Collingswood, New Jersey, which has hosted
great venue.
It's a great venue, and it is huge. I mean, they have had a lot of big name musical acts have gone in there, and we're going to go there and see, and hopefully by December, maybe we'll have another Phillies World Series to talk about.
There you go.
Ray, we're going to let you go, but I want to tell you that our other guest tonight is Angelo Cataldi, who you know well, and I taped that interview with him actually yesterday, but here's what he had to say about you, the icon of icons. He's brilliant at everything he does. When Ray speaks, the world listens, and I am in constant awe of him. He likes you, Ray.
He's, we often use the expression, or you hear the expression, one of a kind. People say, "Oh, he's one of a kind," and it's rarely true. I mean, it is true in the case of Angelo Cataldi. I mean, he is everything he said about me, I would certainly apply to him. I mean, he's a man of many, many talents. Came here as a sports writer, working at the Inquirer, was a Pulitzer Prize finalist, and then made the transition over into radio and became the opinion shaper in this city for decades, not just years, but decades. I mean, on a Monday after an Eagles game, everybody on the Schuylkill Expressway was tuning in to hear what Angelo had to say, whether they won or whether they lost. And he was the go-to guy for outrage, certainly, but also when your home team won, he could celebrate with the best of them. I never saw a guy that came from outside the city who became so totally a Philly guy in the sense that Angelo did. I mean, he became the Pied Piper of Philadelphia sports without ever having been born here. Pretty remarkable feat. But I'm sure it was a delightful interview you got with him because he's a really smart guy. And for the folks who have not picked up his book and read it, his memoirs, I absolutely recommend it highly. It's a really, really fine book.
Right there.
It is. It's a really good read and a real good primer on how to succeed in sports talk radio.
Ray, get out of here.
Yeah, Ray, thanks again, as always, for joining us. You're our man. Appreciate you.
Always fun to be with you guys. Take care now.
All righty.
All righty. Bye-bye.